Howdy everyone, Zakalachi again, and in this video I'm giving my thoughts on the Rabbit clan of Armello. The Rabbits are a jack-of-all-trades, master of whichever one they want to devote themselves to, and they generally have pretty versatile abilities, stat spreads, and they also start the game strong with the most money out of any of the other clans. They may be herbivores, but they will not be pushed around so easily. Each Rabbit seems to be geared towards a certain playstyle, but with their own unique twist. Because they're so versatile, the Rabbits can go for any victory condition fairly easily. Let's start with their rings. Emerald is the default ring unlocked, granting +2 shields on planes in both battle and perils. This ring is okay. Planes are guaranteed outside of everyone's clan's grounds and dotted throughout the rest of the map. And while you're out in the open, shields are always helpful in combat, and a lot of perils have shields as their symbol, but it can be hard to justify using this ring compared to some of the others that the Rabbits have available. Speaking of, the first unlocked ring is Pink Topaz, and even though it says it grants double the income, it's really just +1 for each settlement you own. It doesn't affect the clan grounds, and if you have a settlement developed with the patronage and industry, you'll only get 3 gold from that settlement, not 4, come the dawn on just that one, but this ring is still very strong since everyone needs gold all the time, which I've mentioned before, for consumables and items, and this can keep you going more comfortably with only 1 or 2 settlements under your control, but at times when you get 3 or more, it can get to be the point where you have more gold than you know what to do with. This ring pushes you towards claiming more settlements, which can lean into playing trickery cards once you're rich and established. Diamond is third, granting +1 prestige per equipped treasure and follower. This ring is alright, potentially helping you gain and hold a prestige lead, but in some games another player will claim bounties and terrorize settlements and then get ahead of you in prestige. Then this ring feels mostly worthless without your own big plays to regain that lead. I think there are better options, but it can be fun trying to get +6 from this with a full kit of treasures and followers, even though I've only pulled that off maybe twice in 1,000 hours of playing Armello. The last standard ring is Sunstone, granting +1 sun in battle and perils during the day. This ring is comparable to Aquamarine from the Bears, but it plays out slightly differently. This one basically doubles up your clan affinity by giving you the sun on top of your dice instead of splitting it up like the Aquamarine does, but that can encourage your opponents to just attack you at nighttime when you don't get the effect on this. This ring does also help you breach the palace perils on the sides since those require a sun. And just overall, if you want to try something different on the Rabbits, give this ring a shot. It is a decent effect and can be worth using. From the Usurpers DLC comes Rainbow Quartz, probably the best default ring for the Rabbits. +1 gold and magic every dawn is just solid. You'll be getting guaranteed value all game. Just in general, adaptability in Armello is always a plus, and this ring's middle name is adaptability, allowing you to card cycle more easily and just maintain consistent value over the course of the game. Cannot go wrong with Rainbow Quartz. Finally, from the Rivals DLC is Spinel, granting a 20% bonus on all quests. So when you are doing your main questing throughout the game, it will pop up a reward reel if you try to go for the treasure or whatever, and this basically flips 2 of those misses into hits on that activation. So personally, this ring looks good at first glance, but then you realize you're only making use of it 4 times at most throughout the rest of the game, and then you can still miss with just being unlucky and not hitting this bonus, and that feels extra bad with this ring since otherwise throughout the rest of the game you have no ring. So take with that what you will. Spinel can be hit or miss in my experience, and I think there's other better options. Now to delve into the heroes. First up is Amber Veilbearer, the Farseeker, who starts with stats of 3544, and her ability Tomb Raider says it gives a better chance of finding rewards when exploring dungeons. Before the 2.0 update, it specified treasures and followers, but the way it's worded now, that could also include gold and magic. My main gripe with this ability is it isn't very well communicated when exactly it's having its effect, because before the 2.0 update, while exploring, some of the treasure and follower symbols would flash with a shiny border to indicate that the ability was adding those into the rotation there, but since then that visual effect is gone. It kind of feels like Spinel, where you have no abilities sometimes, since you can still get Banes or an untimely teleport when exploring. and she's not a great fighter by default with only 3 fights starting, but otherwise has a good spread. 4 wits and spirit allow you for a comfortable amount of cards and spellcasting, and 5 body is standard. I've found good success with the Resist Amulet and Sunstone Ring, both helping to shore up that fighting weakness with the always on +1 shield and the halftime on Sun, which is on during the day. I've also found similar success with the Scratch Amulet +1 fight and the Emerald Ring for the shields instead, or with the Discipline Amulet for more dice during the day, but everything on there is just opportunity cost, however you want to build it. It's also good fun to try to run Diamond on Amber to get a full kit of treasures and followers, especially if you can pull extras from dungeons, or taking Rainbow Quartz for just more gold and magic as normal. I typically like shooting for 2 fight quests along with a wits and a body if the treasures line up nicely, but Amber can also lean into that spirit angle and become quite a formidable spellcaster as well. I'll be saying this a lot with the rabbits, but you can really build them any which way and usually find some success. Second is Barnaby Screwloose, who I personally find to be one of the most interesting characters to play. His starting stat spread of 4642 is nice and balanced at the cost of spirit, but his ability is very interesting. Tinkerer allows you to return items back to your hand when you equip over them on your actual kit, while also removing the cost. This basically makes your hand of cards an extension of your equip slots. You can hold onto a utility item like Torch or Adventurer's Kit that are normally not worth the item slot when better gear comes up, and you can keep also potentially both an offensive and defensive kit, like having an oak spear and a heavy flail at the same time. For an example, you just have the heavy flail when it's your turn and you can attack things, and the oak spear otherwise when it's not your turn and you need to defend. This does limit your future card drawing, but in exchange you have a potentially higher level of adaptability than the other heroes, and it also gets you into the habit of burning cards regularly to free up those slots in your hand for more cards. Also, if you're someone else playing in a game with Barnaby, try to steal the cards out of their hand with like a glamour or stuff like that, since you can potentially get the discounted card and get a free equip on yourself. I'm currently running Think for the extra wits, since you need as many card slots as possible, along with Rainbow Quartz for that extra gold and magic each dawn. Both help to keep playing cards and making the use out of his slightly more strained wit stat, and overall it's just solid and versatile. Again, you can run pretty much anything on Barnaby and find success, and I think this set in particular helps to play to his strengths the most. I typically aim for all wits and fights quests during the game to, again, help play to his strengths, but you can take a spirit quest if none of the rewards are worth it to help mix up his game a little bit, so that way you can dip into the spell deck more easily and get some cards cycling and effects that way. Third is Elysia, the Wardress of Warrens from the Usurpers DLC. She has one of the most powerful and annoying abilities in the entire game, but I will get to that in a second. Her starting stat spread is 3553, which, like Amber, doesn't make her the best fighter right off the bat, but she does have a higher starting wits, which can be very nice. Her ability, Architect, makes it so that whenever she ends her turn on a settlement, she will then construct a permanent set of fortifications of city walls around it, and her ability also lets her ignore the usual additional AP cost of moving onto a fortified settlement. And this ability can be borderline broken at times, since the walls you build are permanent, which makes every settlement cost as much as a mountain for everyone else to move onto, thus deterring them from reclaiming your settlements and just slowing everything down a lot throughout the course of the game. This can effectively neuter anyone trying to go for trickery-heavy gameplay like Griot and the rest of the rats, but you can also just stifle everyone from getting gold over the course of the game by making settlements more expensive to reclaim. By holding on to multiple settlements, she can comfortably dip into the trickery deck herself earlier than most other characters, but this also, just by existing in a game, puts a target on her back from the very beginning, since with a decent kit and smart play, Elysia can influence the entire board for the whole game, and the only way to stop her is to not let her get started, really. To that end, I am currently running the Scratch Amulet and the Pink Topaz Ring. Pink Topaz is fairly obvious, increasing the income from settlements, which is just too perfect to really take anything else, although you can. Scratch helps to patch up the weak starting fight stat from 3 to 4, but you can also try running Discipline from that angle. I've also seen people try to run things like the Think Amulet and Sprint, but I find that since she has the low starting fight, she's more easily punished in the early game and can't really get momentum. I aim for 2 fight quests almost every game when I play Elysia. Other than that, you can take pretty much anything, another wits, another body, just whatever has a good quest reward. And as I mentioned, I think 3 times now, she can be built any which way, and you can usually find success. Last, but certainly not least, from the Rivals DLC comes Hargrave Proudclaw, the Thunder Earl. 5.5.4.2 is a pretty great starting stat spread for a fighter, and this hair definitely still has some fight left in him despite the peg leg. I don't feel like I mind the low spirit too much on Hargrave just because he leans into that fighter archetype more, and his ability, Cannoneer, allows him to shoot the other players and pretty much anything with his cannon that moves next to him while he is ending his turn on a mountain or a plains, due to him having the line of sight there. This can lock down crucial routes around the board from other players and generally deters anyone else from getting close to you since they will always start at a health disadvantage. One time I was actually playing a game as River and someone else was playing Hargrave, and they were positioned on a plains between me and my quest, so I would have had to walk all the way around them and take 3 damage just to move 2 hexes away to get to my quest, so it can be really powerful ability at times. I'm currently running the Sprint Amulet along with the Emerald Ring, since it can be tricky to activate his ability as much as possible. Planes, while common, aren't super common. I think they're more spread out throughout the rest of the map, and the Emerald Ring can help you with the additional shields there. And then Sprint just helps you maintain momentum if you need to stop early on a plains or something, and can help you get into those mountain ranges if you stop short and need to cross a gap or something. I typically lean towards taking 2 wits quests with 1 body and 1 fight, just in a standard game, but you can also take a spirit quest when none of the rewards are worth getting to patch up that spirit to 3 as a standard for spellcasting. Like I said, Hargrave, along with all the rabbits, is very versatile, very strong, and is a great fun character to play. And that is the Rabbit Clan, a proud and powerful group that really shine through with their diverse talents. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe for more of this type of content, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Until next time.